Action. Hello, folks. Thanks very much for, let's see. I'm on it. Hello, folks. Thanks for watching our video here for the We Built All Saints campaign. If you want to contribute to All Saints, there's a link in the comments section to buy one of the plaques at our pitches and also sign up to our direct debit scheme. But I'm here with our amazing ladies Gaelic footballer, Marnie Kelly. Almost about to call you Marnie O'Neill.
Oh no, don't do that. Andy will get
You're
angry.
20, Marnie.
Yeah, you're 20. Like, that's just shocking. I can't believe we were just talking about that. That's mad. That makes me feel very old.
Yeah, you're doing amazing. Like, to keep going. But no, thanks so much for doing this. Hopefully, some of the younger ones can learn from your experiences. So, talk about your early days. How did you get introduced to GAA? Was your family involved in GAA?
Not my immediate family. My brothers sort of take the mick out of me for my Gaelic and my cultiness, was what they would say. They're all into their sort of more music and everything. But my wider family, absolutely. So Kevin Madden was probably our Gaelic star of the family. He's my cousin, my dad's sister's son. So that's probably where I would have known about it early days. But with regards in the club, there wasn't really any underage girls teams at that time. So it was whenever Alex Scullion got it all started up in 2002, friends with Amy, and she was, we were working together in the Adair Arms, and she just came up and said, my dad's starting a football team, do you want to join? And I was all up for it. So it really just started from there. And, Alex Scullion has coached me, I think, through every sport I've ever played. Play dates with Amy would have been bowling and gymnastics and swimming and all these things. It wasn't play dates, it was coaching sessions, but we loved it at the same time. So but yeah, back in those days we were playing with the likes of Helena and Sarah McLaughlin and Kelly, who we're seeing still now. So it's not just me, I'm not just the only one that's hanging on. So back in them days, yeah, it was senior from day one. There was no underage, as I say, so we got stuck in straight into the leagues that were there at the time.
Were you?
Oh, 15. You're not supposed to give away my age, Pete. You're I'm only joking. Yeah, I was 15 at the time. So I got stuck straight into it. And, even straight away the next year, I took any opportunity to go play county. They did have a bit of an underage setup. So there was under 16, minor and senior. We played, myself and Kelly and Claire Timoney and a few girls and Amy went along and played there as well. So yeah, I mean, it's been quite the career.
Those days were absolutely brilliant. I just remember that team just looked like so much fun. Like, my two little sisters were on the team, and
yes,
there's just such a buzz about the team.
There was, and we got great numbers.
I mean, you had everything. You had characters, you had absolute ballers, you had hard workers. They were brilliant days. And just before, quite a natural Gaelic football. And were you playing any other sports that helped complement that? Did you play multiple sports growing up? And would you recommend that for younger players at the underage times?
Yeah, definitely. I played a bit of netball at school. I play netball now, but I played a bit of netball at school. But I always loved football. At break time and lunchtime, the boys hated seeing me coming, but I always just wanted to play football with the boys. And they're like, "Oh, go, just let her play," because I could sort of play a wee bit, maybe not as well as them, obviously, but I just loved it. I just always had a ball in my hands. My mum always said she'd be trying to buy me dolls and all these things as a kid, but I was such a tomboy. All I wanted to do was play football. I just always had a ball in my hands. She always said that.
You're at St. Louis. Was there any girls' teams in St. Louis you were able to play for?
No, I think it started the year after I left or something. So no, but I played football, soccer, football with Mr. Stewart, the principal. So he took the team, and there was a couple of matches, but there wasn't a lot for us to play. There wasn't a lot of a league or anything. We just played a couple of friendlies here and there. So no, actually it wasn't great back in those days. I'm sure now, I mean, you see now they've got loads of teams. So the opportunities now for girls and women in sport is fantastic. So I think it started rolling whenever I was that age, but I'm glad to see it now for the younger ones. But yeah, with regards to multiple sports, I would always encourage the younger ones, especially with the likes of netball. It's the 2 seasons are separate, so going into winter sport and playing netball, I see a lot of the younger ones in our club are playing both sports. Netball for hand coordination, my hand-eye coordination skills is just invaluable, and I think Damien Kelly has said that about his under 14 team. I think there's a couple there that play, and he can see the difference in some of the skill sets there. So 100% definitely plays as much sport as you can, because that's the way you find what sport you'll excel in and which one you want to stick with. And there's nothing better to do to find your friends and your social groups and everything is to be part of sports teams. So I would totally encourage it.
That's Marnie. I totally agree. Playing basketball myself, the two sports, netball as well, would just lend themselves to each other so well, and you're not getting that conflict in seasons that you might get with the football seasons. You came into a team, some of the likes of a great team that was started there by Alex Scullion. You'd likes yourself, Amy Scullion. Sorry if I forget some people, but you get like yourself, Amy Scullion. The McVeigh girls, Claire Timoney. Who else would think you had? You had the likes of, who else was on that team? There was Leonie Dunn was on it at the time, and then there was some of the, there was Michelle McDonald. There was some of the older ones, Patricia and Kelly as well. And at the time, they maybe seemed a lot old, because remember there's a photo of them and all using the house, and it seems like these are just children.
Yeah.
And they're women, and what were they like when you came in the team? Did you learn a lot from them older players?
They were the crack of the team, Patricia and Kelly Reid. No, they were great sports people as well. So absolutely, their experience and even their leadership. You were able to learn a lot from them that way, and you gain confidence from women like that. They would always be motivating you and bigging you up when you do something wrong. When you're a bit younger, you may be a bit anxious if you do something wrong, and if everybody's gonna look at me a certain way or whatever. But no, they always made it fun. But motivated you to keep going. So no, it was great. It was great to play with those girls. And now that's me. I'm the older one. I can't believe it.
And Lizzie and Lauren used to talk about when they came into training from the pre-season training days with Alex Scullion, and she was saying you were doing fartlek training. Now, at the time, I think we were just running around. We were doing old school training, running around the pitch, press ups and all. But you guys were doing stuff that was really specific to like what's actually now. What were those days like? Were they tough training days? And I don't think you had the best training facilities either back then. What was the setup like?
Yeah, they were. I mean, as I say, Alec is probably the most dedicated coach. No matter what he's coaching, he's got it all planned out and knows exactly what he wants to achieve and what he wants to get out of each individual player. So yeah, we were doing the likes of those fartlek training, also set plays and things like that, even at that age and at that level, just to get the best out of everyone that he could. The facilities, I mean, they're nothing like they are now. All Saints, I think, have one of the best clubs around now. The changing facilities, the toilets, they've done so much work to make sure that everybody is of on equal playing field. And back in those days, I remember changing, in other clubs as well, we'd go to, I think it was some Brigids, and we'd change in a container lorry. Probably yours were the same. I don't think they had club facilities at the time. But it's never easy. It's probably a bit easier for boys than girls at that age to sort of do that sort of thing. So, nowadays it's just miles away from that sort of issue. So there's no need to worry about that for the younger players now. But no, we got on with it. We didn't mind.
Yeah, no, that's really good insight to like where the club's growth and all the great work volunteers have done. You mentioned there, changing rooms. I think there was stories. Obviously, male coaches weren't allowed in the changing rooms, and I heard a story that would be a Friday night when he's had a game. The coaches would be by the door saying, "Are you ready yet to leave?" And were you getting ready to go home, or were you getting ready to go out? Maybe.
I don't know this story. Is this Lizzie's story?
Lizzie used to say he's just to go get ready to go to Walsh's on a.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's. I mean, our matches were on a Saturday night at, I think it was 6:30, and our kit bags were packed with our boots and our whatever else we needed, but also with our party gear, because we were going straight out from the changing rooms to Walsh's and to the Elk. And that's what I loved about playing in those leagues as well. You were playing the likes of Craigan, and you'd be on the pitch with all these girls, and you were really competitive and getting stuck in. But 2 hours later, you were in the buzz bar doing, having drinks with them. And that's what I loved about them days. Saturday night matches, I think, should come back as well. I don't think they should be on Sundays and Mondays and all this. They should be Saturday nights or Friday nights, so that we can all go out after and have a drink.
I absolutely agree. And see, think about those days. other teams you played against? I remember you would always come up against big games against the Craigens, St Paul's, those teams. Who were who was like your biggest rivals back in the day as team wise?
I would say Craigen were probably our closest match. They were.
Was there any standout players, Marnie, that you remember?
In Craigen? I can't. I'd be remiss to not mention our Emer Kelly. She's a good friend of mine now. But she would always be bombing through, soloing through, just taking out everyone. And she was a small, slight girl, but she was just bombing through and always going for goal, and always usually got them. And then Roisin O'Boyle would have been playing back in them days. I work with Roisin now, so she was always one to watch out for as well. We would have played Money Glass and the sisters in midfield, the big tall sisters, Mary and Shirley. They were always the ones that you were sort of
McCann sisters, was it?
The McCanns, yeah. We're always walking out sheepishly to see the big tall twins, or they weren't even twins. We always called them the twins, in midfield. And it was those sort of. There was always those few people that you had in mind when you're going to each team, like you were looking out to see if they were there. And but I mean, we had Claire Timoney in our armoury, so we didn't mind.
I know, so it's like, we talk about these big players you're coming up against, but touching Claire Timoney, because I confidently can say we're the same age growing up, that we had amazing footballers in our club, but the best footballer in our club was Claire Timoney, male and female.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always just sound just probably not good. I just, can we get that girl like belt up steroids ever and get her onto the men's team to still win us the championship?
Absolutely. I feel like we should have a wee statue of Claire Timoney in the club room or something. And for such a young player, just skill just oozing out of her. She was just, everybody just loved to watch her play. God love her though. She had so much pressure on her shoulders with our team, because if she had a message in to say she couldn't play a match, I mean, our heads were down and we were like, should we even bother? Because it was just like, oh, Claire's not playing, we don't want to play. And it was always just like, get the ball to Claire no matter what way you can do it. But the other teams on you, if Claire too, maybe putting 4 players on her. So it's like their whole tactic, well, not 4 maybe, but like at least 2. Their whole tactic would just be to take her out of the game, sort of. So we'd have to nearly do it ourselves anyway. But
Claire would have come on the team. You've seen, like, Claire's had an absolute one of the best careers, football careers in interim history. If anyone doesn't know, we'll link up another interview to her in this here in the comments section. But tell me, what was it like when you first seen Claire come onto the scene? Because I think Claire came from they moved to the town, and then did she join the team shortly after that, or was she embedded in the town by that stage?
I think she maybe wasn't there maybe the first year, but I'm pretty sure she was. Yeah, she'd come in, and we were like, "Oh, who's this?" Like, because I wouldn't have known her from the town. She was a year below me, but I only knew her through the football. But she just walked on and stormed it. Like, and she's such a modest person, a modest player. She could have easily have had a big attitude about her, and we would have allowed her to, but she was just a really, really modest player and the loveliest girl. So, she was just best friends with everybody. But she took the time, even though she was one of the youngest players, she would have taken the time to improve other people's games too, take them aside and be like, this is what just to get people to play, the best they can around her as well. But, she was fantastic. And, it was a shame whenever the club, I think, we lost players at a time and we couldn't field for a year or 2, so we probably lost a few players that, like, I went to St Brigids. I think maybe at that point she went to Breda, or maybe she was concentrating on her soccer at that time. I'm not sure, but I always just wonder, could we have kept her some way? How would we have ever got her back? And no, she just went on to to bigger and better teams, I guess. But I think her heart's always with All Saints in the end. She always wants us to do well. She always asks about us. So
see, you talk about the years you, yourself, her, Amy, and a few others went up to. You were playing county senior at under 16. You're an under 16, and you were playing under 16s, minors, and senior front. And what was that like? And what girls were part of what? In terms of the senior team, what senior players were there, and did they make you feel welcome in the team? Can you remember anyone's?
Yeah. You mean from other clubs as well?
Yeah, at the senior setup.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it was probably one of the first years again that they had set up these sort of teams and were just sort of trialing us entering this into these different age groups and stuff. yeah, it was a hectic time in my schedule. I was playing club football. I was playing these sort of different age groups in the county, and I think I was playing a wee bit for maybe school, a few tournaments and things. So my schedule was packed, but I loved it. And then got up there. There was, I think, the likes of me and Amy and I think Helena Kelly went up. The other senior players, yeah, that's when we sort of got to know the likes of the McCann sisters and some of the Craigan players, and we were able to learn, from all of those sort of more experienced players. They've probably been playing their club, I think, had been running a few more years in All Saints. So it was a great experience. We travelled all around the country, didn't score a point, I don't think, the whole season, but we loved it. It was an experience for us, even just the crack on the bus and getting to know even the Belfast girls. There's always that divide with the townies and the city girls and the country girls, but that's the chance you got to sort of get to know each other and get together. And yeah, that team ran for maybe 3 or 4 years, and yeah, I couldn't fault it. It was a couple of guys from Craigan were taking us at the time. It was all a bit of crack. It wasn't too serious, but it was coming up against some of the other counties. We were going down to sort of like Westmeath, I think, and stuff, and seeing some of them girls like that have obviously been playing football since they were from birth. It was just mad, and that's probably, they live, breathe and sleep football, and playing up against those girls. I remember just one instance of, I think I was maybe a corner back or full back or something, and the ball was coming in, and this woman just bulled from the halfway line and dived and punched it into the net, and I was just stood there. I was like, what just happened? I don't even think I knew you could punch it into the net at that stage. I think that's how naive I was. But it was, yeah, it was an experience.
Did you ever find, because you're Ballymena, you still talk to people now, say you're down south, and say, oh, who do you play? Do you play GN, and who do you play for? And I'll play for Ballymena, and it's just like,
oh, Ballymena have a team. Yeah.
How did you ever find those reactions? Did that happen at the county level? And maybe when you play other teams, you hear that too in the time, or in the county. How did you react to that?
Yeah, I don't think people. Well, yeah, they were always like, God, I wouldn't have thought Ballymena would have a team, that sort of attitude. But they could see that we were getting the numbers. Like, it wasn't as if we were struggling at all. We had loads of interest. But I think it's just as soon as they saw us coming out and playing, there was no question about the sort of skill level there would be in the town. And there's obviously, we were pulling people from other teams, and even from the football team, the All-Stars team, Ballymena All-Stars, Claire Timney went and recruited a couple, and it was great to see them come through and playing. So no, if anything, it helped us to have such like a big catchment. So yeah,
would you still encourage like ones to like people who won't be aware of Gaelic football?
Yeah.
So it's so welcoming.
People, just last night I was at my netball match, and I was trying to recruit a girl who would never know anything about Gaelic football, but her netball skill is unreal. If she can play that, and she's played a bit of football, I'm like, you're 100% able to play Gaelic football. And I'd be telling like there's a few of us playing that netball team, so she would know a few ones, and yeah, 100% would be welcoming to anybody that would want to come and play, no matter what their age, their skill level. We would take them on and train them up, and that's what we're all about. We just want to see faces and players, and the more we have it training, the better the training is. So
magic. So seeing those you went through them years through 16 through to about, maybe it was about 21, 22. You had an absolutely brilliant team, and you got through. I think he's played Casement Park, maybe he's got the 5 finals, and he's just come up against big teams in finals, and maybe weren't getting over the line. But talk about those teams and some of the players, and you seemed to have great times. You had Alex Scrudgeon took you for a long time, did a brilliant job, and then Eddie Quinn came in, and Eddie Quinn, absolute live wire. He was having great success with St. Louis coaching, and I'm sure those days were some crack as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So we went, Croke Park, I wish. Casement Park. We played. I think it was Craigan. We'd played. That was like our big moment. I think I think it was only the once we went to Casement. But yeah, we couldn't believe that we were getting the chance. The girls were getting the chance to go out onto Casement Park, and we lost out that time, but we didn't. Obviously we cared, but the experience itself was just invaluable. But yeah, I think that was Alec at the time, and then Eddie and Mo, the two of them are just they were a great coaching team as well over the years. Again, really dedicated and had everything planned out really well, and just put the time and the work into us and developed us in different ways to other coaches. And always a bit of crack as well with ADMO. So,
and see, in terms of those teams, I heard they sort of fell in line with your legendary 18th and 21st birthday parties. I'm sure the whole team were at them.
Yeah. There was always a big bouncy castle and a lot of booze, and I just sent mum away to granny's for the weekend, and I'm having a couple of friends over. But yeah, they turned into absolute house party ragers.
Can you remember any? What were some of your favourite taglines from? I remember just hearing Edie when I went to watches. Edie had some very colourful commentary from the sidelines. So it was.
I'm sure I can repeat.
Yeah, maybe we'll not repeat them. I guess. But they were terrific teams. And then, unfortunately, the club, just with many a club, because of the age group of everyone, the age range, everyone went to university and just had to separate all over, and it was hard to keep the team going. So folded, and you went on to St. Brigids. What were those years like? Were the St. Brigids ones good? Do you think, man?
Oh, they were brilliant. They're sort of known as the blow-in team anyway, I think. So they're used to sort of people from all over the country joining St. Brigids when they go to Belfast, for whether they're working in Belfast or they're studying there and they don't have sort of the ability to travel home to their own teams. So they are, really welcoming team. I absolutely love those days. I'm still friends with a few of the girls from that team as well. And we did really well. We got to a final there as well. We won a championship. Sorry, I won a championship with St. Brigids. Yeah, sort of forgot that. My memory shot.
Well, that's those years. I think for all of us, those years between 18 to like 24 are a bit of a blur for everyone. You get to that's class. And then you head over and played in Australia, yeah.
Yeah, so went graduated from uni. So after St. Brigids, went to Australia and played there for years for the Brisbane Harps. But my God, the heat is like something else when you're playing out there. It's shocking. But it was more of a sort of a fun sort of Sunday tournament. All the teams got together and went to the club rooms after. But it was really interesting just playing out there because a lot of the team were they were Aussie girls, but they were AFL girls. So they were like hench. I mean, they were strong. So yeah, that was a great experience too. But just along with the heat and these big dolls, I was like, oh God.
Were you just yourself over there? Who else were you over there with playing?
Oh, just me and wee Marion. So she wasn't a footballer, but she'd come along and cheer me on. But no, I just went along myself. Yeah.
And when you came back, we got the team going again, and it looks brilliant. The amount of girls just have up at training.
Yeah, I mean, when I came back,
and you just got promoted last year.
Yes, we're up into Division 1 now. So, so I went to England and played football there.
Jesus, Scottish.
Yeah.
Hi, tell us about England.
That was 5 years.
Over there too, and team. That team seems such a community over there.
Yeah, so I lived in Luton, which isn't the best area itself, but there's a massive, massive Irish community there. So I had the best 5 years, and I moved over there on the Sunday, and on the Monday night, I found the team and went to training. And, I now have like a group of best friends for life from that. That's one thing I would say to anybody. If you're going, traveling or, living away from anywhere, the first thing you do, if you play sport, is find a sports team and join it. Don't think twice about it, because that is your social life then. That was me set up for 5 years. I'd met everybody I needed to know in the town. And yeah, it was just the best experience.
Is it funny if you had...
Say again, sorry? You're on mute, Pete.
What's the name of the... So there's a feedback on my computer, I don't want it to hear. Right. But what was the name of the club again?
Clan Gaels.
Clan Gaels. And how did you choose them? And were you just going through, and is it like the first on the list? Is it C or? And just thinking how things can be so different, because we're good friends, and friend, can you imagine how different your life would be?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just googled it and found them. So that luckily they had a website, but there's not a whole lot of teams around, ladies teams around that area. So it was the one team, Luton team. It's actually the only club in Britain, it might be Britain and Ireland, that isn't associated to a men's team. So they set up separately by themselves as a women's team, and they're still not. So they got together and set up the team, and I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years later that I'd come over and joined. But I mean, the numbers and the we won, I think, 6 trophies in 1 year. I know that doesn't seem like a big achievement if it's, you know, such a small pool, but it was some team. It was a cracking team, and we've gone all over the country and played. And then played a bit for Glow Hearts. It was called Gloucestershire, Hertfordshire merged. And we played against the likes of London and that. So that was an experience because they were a very, very strong team. But no,
what were they like, the London team you came up against? I'm sure you came up against a few county players.
Yeah, absolutely.
For their big county players that are working abroad in London.
Exactly. Yeah, there were county players from, you know, over here going over there to work and joining London straight away. So yeah, that was always a challenge, I would say.
see, maybe I've got the wrong club memories in my mind, but it's a huge club, kind of Keels. Like, I think your dinner dances were, how many people would be at there?
Oh, that's just because anybody that was Irish wanted to go to any Irish event over there. So yeah, our events would have had at least 200 people at them. And that was just for our wee ladies Gaelic team, which seems mad. But
like, how many people would be at them roughly?
Yeah, like over 200, yeah, between like 2 to 250, yeah, at those times. But we had a great sponsor, Martin Maloney, and you know, he supported us so much. He was amazing. And Bill Barrett, our coach, I'll be remiss to not mention our Bill. But you know, there was the Leitrim Association and the Mayo Association, and there's all these county associations. So they were all like, we were all a big family over there. So it was a big night out. They were at it. They didn't care what we were celebrating or what we were doing, but they were.
I have an assistant coach you're pretty friendly with now.
Who's that?
Your husband, no?
Oh. Yeah, I did. I did drag poor Andy into coaches a few times, and I mean, some of the girls couldn't understand a word he was saying with his Ballymena accent. But you know, he'd be like, "Get down on your hunkers, girls," and they'd be like, looking at, and all the English girls would be like, "What? Get down on the what?"
What would be advice? Because if you don't know, Andy and Marnie's been going out, childhood sweethearts, and now Marnie, the lovely young son. And what advice would you give, you know, in terms of balancing both your, because Andy was one of Ballymena's best ever footballers, won 2 championships with Ballymena. You know, how did you balance that relationship? You know, where you're going away and you're training, you're very sporty, he's very sporty. How were you able to balance that relationship? What advice would you give to other couples that are both keen in their sport and don't want to take away from their sport just because they're in a relationship?
I think probably because we were both so into sport, it made it easier because we understood each other, if that makes sense. You know, there might be other